Shalom, Yasha Allah. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chadash. Double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to you, hopefully like the Akim out there laboring, that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. Lord willing, that this lesson was edifying. I'm going to be doing a news update, something that just caught my attention, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, it be edifying unto the elect. So, as I was, just online, I saw this article a couple days ago, actually, when I first saw it, and I didn't know if it was really real until I started doing some more information on it after seeing it again on my social medias, and so this right now is the beginning of a new era of lockdowns. And before it was the C19er lockdowns that they used to force people into their homes, force businesses to shut down, et cetera, which we all know happened. And since the last lockdowns have ended, the elders and apostles have always said that the lockdowns are coming back and they are going to be more strict, they're going to be more draconian, and they're going to be more often, and so the first country to do it is a province in Nova Scotia, Canada, which we know Canada, they got no fucking way to defend themselves. They bend over and take it, just like they do over here in Babylon the Great when it comes to these laws. So this is the Oregon Life news article, and I saw this circulate on Instagram, and I had to go double check to see if it was real. But this is Canadian man, and Nova Scotia is a province of Canada. So it says a Canadian man fined $28,872 for walking in woods during wildfire ban. And they say it's a wildfire ban, but it's really just a test to see how many draconian laws they can pass before people rise up. Because there's never been a wildfire risk to where they have to shut down the open woods to stop people from coming in, just from walking around, So just the point being that this is leading into climate lockdowns, because that's what this is, referring to. The wildfire risk, saying that they are concerned with the amount of people, and if the global warming, and they're saying that they're in a drought, etc., etc. We here in Babylon the Great live in an area here, specifically in Idaho, where there is wildfires, and in all my years they have never physically stopped or fined people from being in the woods, and they do have fire bans. There are certain times where they don't let you have a campfire, and that's understandable, because a lot of people don't know how to be responsible, have the proper training on how to contain or build a fire. So the point being is that these governments are just using this as a blueprint to ultimately shut people inside the cities when they want to. They're going to allow you, in the name of climate change, to stay in your house. They're going to give you a social credit score to see if you're worthy to go hike in the woods or whatever it is. But I just wanted to use this example to show you that these countries will go to the extent of making you stay in your house from even walking in the woods. So that goes into the prophecy, man shall desire to go. I know it's in 2nd Esdras. To city not able. KJV right here. Salakia. This is 2nd Esdras 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And that's because these lockdowns that are going to be happening, these different draconian laws that are going to force people to not be able to have the freedom to move, and this is something that is prophecy. This is 2nd Esdras 15 and 18. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So when all this chaos is going on, you can expect that the governing powers that be are going to want to quarantine the problem. They're not going to want the problem to spread. So they're going to force everybody to stay where they are at, so that they can ultimately get them chipped up. Chaos can break out and people can can beg the government for any form of security, but that is going to come by way of the means of the charagma. And again, the same things that we see these people being fined for by moving freely in public is the same things that these people are going to be fined for not having the charagma. So, continuing, I wanted to get into 2nd Ezra 16, around the 70th verse. Because if you think that it's here it is. If you think it's crazy that these governments are stopping people from hiking in the woods and they're fining them over $25,000, you can expect that when they say that it's a matter of national security, they're going to lock you up. They're not going to give you a fine. They're going to throw you in a gulag, and force you to stay there so that they can control you, since you don't want to be controlled by the beast system. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 70, and that's what I'm leading into. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And those that fear the Lord are going to be the elect, the 1/3, the people that are not going to be accepting the mark of the beast, the charagma. So they're going to be not having any of the freedoms like regular people do. And this is just an example of what's going on in Nova Scotia, of them stopping people from just hiking in the woods. Man, it's crazy. So imagine if they're just worried about wildfires. Imagine when it's a term of national security because you don't have the charagma. It's going to be worse. And as scriptures are going to describe here that I'm going to read, this is 2nd Ezra 16 and 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And that's going to be these Gurga troops, these satanic super soldiers, these robots, these Terminators, whatever drones Esau has that he's going to pull out of the cuts in the time of Jacob's trouble. Those are going to be after the men and women and children of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Because this is going to be a global thing of them trying to really stomp out any residue of faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And you not taking the charagma is going to be an identifier that you are against the system. This is verse 72. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So everything that you've worked for, all the material things that you have in your house, ultimately you're not going to be able to take with you. These devils are going to deem you an enemy of the state, public enemy number one. You think public enemy number one is going to be able to keep their resources, be able to keep their goods, be able to have access to their family? No, man, this devil is going to come down hard, and it's going to be, a trial of our faith, whatever brothers has to go through, whatever situation. And that's why we need to build our faith in this time and store our riches in heaven, because we're not going to have anything in the worldly sense to lean on, nor should you, because, hey, man, there's nothing that we can physically hold in our hand that's going to make our case in Jacob's trouble better. But serving Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will keep you in those days. Salakia. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. And that is the furnace of adversity. And then these people are really going to know who actually has faith, who actually believes in the Bible. Because Yahweh Ratazah, we be those men that do not bow down to the beast system. Even though all your family may bend down and take the charagma, you got to be able to stand 10 toes down and not capitulate, which means to give up and surrender to this devil. Verse 74, hear, O ye my beloved, and that's talking about the elect, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. And that's Yahushai, ultimately our Savior, that it's going to come to deliver the elect out of the hands of this devil, man. Esau, Edom, Moab, Ishmael, had the Hagareans, Elam, all these damn fucking nations, man, that are going to come after the elect in these last days. Verse 75, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai power, let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over the bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed, and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. So that's why, amen, every man's work will be tried. Let's see. This is 1 Corinthians 3:13. Every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. And that's that furnace of adversity, all these different tribulations, to see how really real your faith is. Whether you're just out there on the highways and byways because you like the camp that you're a part of. Oh, you like practicing in the park. You like marching with shields. Oh, you like being around all these Israelite sisters that are looking for a husband, man. Whatever fucking dumbass motive these other Israelites are in, other than having fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to want to be able to do the right thing, to do his work, to hear your calling, to want to make your calling and election sure, to be able to run the race all the way to the finish, to be able to say and look back when we're in the kingdom of heaven through, as we're playing back the movie of our lives here on earth, that you did the right thing in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Continuing, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. Next verse. If any man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. And that work that you're building upon is your faith, your works, building your own spirit up with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Because you've got to be a thing called a labor of love, to make sure that you have prepared your foundation strong enough to, when those waves come, when that flood rises, you're not that man that built his house on the sand. You built it on a solid foundation, the rock, the cornerstone, Yahweh Shai. Not the laws, the statutes, the commandments, brother. Where's your fringes, Ak? All this other for man's eyes, that these other camps appeal to their masses, man. Not a real relationship on what you need to do as an individual to please Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the things that you need to do, to serve him correctly. Not just say I love him and then you got a mouthful of pork and you're going to a fucking family birthday party or some shit, man. Hell no. Your life is going to be completely changed, turned upside down. You're going to be a different creature. And that's why you have to build your spirit up in this time before these days come, before they fine you $25,000 for just walking in a park, man. If you don't think that's reality, that's the world you live in. And it's only going to get worse. And that's why, I just wanted to use that example to show you that these governments are going to get full-blown draconian, to the point where they want to monitor every heartbeat, every breath, every step that you take in the form of that digital rice chip in the charagma. So that's the warning that we put out to our people, because there is only one MOT to the B, and it must be identified. We must speak about warning our people to not take it, and to show you the examples in the real world of this devil passing laws to stop you from exercising any freedoms that you think you have, so-called freedoms, So Lord willing that this lesson was edifying unto the elect. Till next time, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rchachodash, and double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And peace and salutations to all you hopeful elect Akim out there laboring, that are pushing this word and truth and in sincerity. Till next time, Lord willing. Shalom.